I am doing the intuitive patterns for the month of May 2022. This is a combination of some of the astrology as well as different decks of cards. And so I use 6 different decks, sometimes 7, as I'm doing this particular spread for the month. So, this particular spread, we have I am just getting this back in alignment. So we have the Osho Zen Tarot. We have the cards Stress, Sorrow, and Participation. In the medicine cards, we have Spider, Otter, and Horse. In the Mayan Oracle, we have Amish, Khan, and Kawak. In the ancient Egyptian Tarot, we have the Hierophant, the Queen of Cups, and the Six of Cups. The Aleister Crowley Tarot deck, we have Worry, Death, and Success. In the Healing Earth Tarot, we have Wise Old Woman, Woman of Shields, and the High Priestess. And in the Words of Truth, we have Inappropriate Relationship, Energy, Inappropriate Time, and Future. So if that sounds a little intense, you would be right. So if we take this from a literal standpoint, we kind of go, there's going to be a lot of stress, there's going to be a lot of sorrow. Those two combined are going to ask us to participate in very new ways. There's a lot of things being woven by Spider. There's a lot of words, because Spider is about words being misconstrued and lies being woven into the mix. Otter is a suggestion that regardless, we still have to have a break and we have to learn to play. Horse, it has a lot of power and determination and drive, and so kind of listen to when that needs to go forward too. Amish is a card that is the Divine Mother, and Khan is about the cosmic cornucopia, and Kawak is about the destructive forces of the time that we are currently in. So that basically says, listen to nature, listen to the Divine Mother, see the abundance that is happening around you, and recognize, though, that we are in a very fiery purple transformation of change. We also have that you need to listen to your spiritual guidance. You need to feel into the flow and listen to your intuition and recognize that there is still love, and pay attention to that love that is surrounding you. Yes, you're going to worry. Yes, people are still going to die, and yet successes and certain successes will be won. We have great wisdom that's inside of us, and we need to learn to protect and shield ourselves from the dark forces that are out there. And once again, listen to the whispers that come to us from the subtle realms and the unconscious. There are going to be questions around relationships, whether they're appropriate anymore or not. There's energy that's changing, and there's a lot of odd timing that's going to be happening that is going to characterize where we're going for the future. So, May is a time of bright flowers and delight. It is when the divine feminine shows up in all her glory. The Mayan oracle card Amish represents that primordial feminine mother whose essence is a dragon, and whose deep red color reminds us that the process of birthing new life also requires great effort and sacrifice. As we look at this world being torn at by the forces of displaced darkness, we also recognize a new foundation of cooperation is being laid down. Those foundation stones are going to become a new base for something to be built upon it. And it will become something great because of the tremendous sacrifices of those that have laid down their lives for their country and the ideals and principles of a more peaceful world. There is no stronger magic in the world than the blood magic from an entire culture that would rather die than surrender to tyrants. Khan shows that there is a stirring of deep feelings of insecurity and a realization that there are those that want to restrict our individuation, muzzle the dissent, and force us to buy into their distortion of history. Destructive moments become the fertile ground for us to awaken our dreams and bring new possibilities to light. Kawak reminds us that our own denial makes us afraid of the unknown. Our addictive tendencies are at the forefront of our consciousness. We see them in a new light, and we recognize that there are patterns of deep despair because of our sense of separation from the source. But Amish reminds us that separation is an illusion of the mind. The divine feminine Amish shows us that we can never be separated from the influences of this co-creation. Uncertainty is just a doorway through the current wall that is blocking truth, and doubt is the crucible of evolution. It allows us to see what might be true beyond our perceptual bubble. I see in the cards the great worry and concern that is being felt by so many facing death on a multitude of levels. Something is being forced into our reality in order for us to move beyond this terribly stuck energy that has been sapping the life and vitality out of each of us. On April 30th, we had a solar eclipse in Taurus, and as all eclipses are a course corrector and herald the death of one reality and birth into another, I wonder what this new cycle will hold for each of us. May is a wake-up call, and its connection with Uranus adds a tone of unpredictability into the mix. We are in a process of the continued evolution of our consciousness, and this is clear as we are in a precipitous time. There is a new balance being asked of us. There is a call for truth and justice in a more collaborative way. It becomes clearer that the old ways of destructive terrorism are not worth the tremendous cost of property and lives. Justice will be demanded, and the waste of resources is finally seen as not worth it. The collective awareness of transition is awakening us to a new phase and deeper understanding of the story of the human race. A bright spotlight is illuminating the inappropriate relationships in our lives that have become a burden and too heavy to carry forward. We see the doorway ahead that only allows for one soul to pass through at a time. No one can take another through this door, and each has to walk through under their own energy. We see the projection of a future that is not enough, that holds not enough value, and now it is time to initiate a change. While we may grieve and feel tremendous pain at what is being lost, we do need to look at what is also being offered. May is a month where full participation is going to be required of each of us. Stress is handled not by busy work, but by meeting those challenges head on and fighting for a better world. There is a power within us that will show us the path if we are willing to see the destructive effects of our words or the voices that we allow within our own minds. We are learning to take the magic that lives within the words, but then rearrange those words masterfully into a war cry of hope for a world filled with greater understanding and compassion. Thanks, everyone.